Hey, Carmen here. Welcome, and I hope you're having a beautiful Wednesday. My name is Carmen. I am a myofunctional therapist. I'm an educator. I spend a ton of time helping my community, my followers, my tribe understand all things myofunctional therapy, or all things myofunctional impairment. So my new blog came out this week, and this week is all about answering questions. I answer hundreds of emails, and a lot of them are repetitious, same thing over and over. So that tells me that a lot of you are asking the same stuff. So my blog this week was answering a question from a sweet client in another country about really the process. So if you are in another country and you're wondering about the process with myofunctional therapy, those type of things, I encourage you to take a look at my blog, because I'm going to dive into some other questions in this discussion. So my team and I looked through to see what are the biggest questions, what are the biggest pain points, the things that I constantly am addressing over and over again. And I came up with three things that I'm going to talk about. So first, let's just jump right into it. The first one is, what do you recommend when a child is too young for myofunctional therapy but has a significant tie affecting speech? So this is a toughie, because any of you who know me or who have been following the progression of my business, when I really started working with children about age 4 or 5. And that reason was because kiddos need to be able to comprehend, comply, and cooperate with myofunctional therapy. So when I put these kiddos in a mini myo program, that does not mean that mom or dad is not an integral part, because they're so important. Sometimes all we can do is get kiddo to sit down for 10 minutes and demonstrate where they are so that I can do skills assessments. Other than that, me and mom or me and dad are the ones who are doing the therapy program together so that the parents can be the conduit of therapy for the child. So what started happening is I have had this huge influx of clients who say, okay, Carmen, I know that you don't want somebody to start therapy until they're age 4 or 5. You don't want somebody to have a frenectomy until they're older. And I've said this time and time again, unless it's a breastfeeding issue, there is no reason to do a frenectomy on a 2-year-old. Absolutely none. Because the outcome, I know what the outcome is. I see it all the time. I work with those clients that are now 4, 5, and 6 who had a frenectomy at age 2. Had no stretching, had no pre-procedure therapy, had no post-procedure therapy. So I see it. I know what it is. Regardless of who you talk to and they tell you it's a great idea, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But what I have started to see is I'm getting a lot of these questions where clients will say, my kiddo has a significant tie. It's affecting speech. He's 3. What should I do? Because that's when parents are really getting concerned. And I totally get it. So I've really been bending my rules, I should say, and growing as a therapist into this area because I see such a huge need. So I would tell you this, to answer this question, if you have a kiddo who does not have affected speech, I'd wait. I would totally wait until they can comprehend, comply, and cooperate with therapy. In the event that you have a kiddo who does have a significant tie and it is affecting speech and you're going to go ahead and have the frenectomy done, then I want to roll with you. Because if you're going to do it with or without me, I want to be there doing what I can. Our goals are going to be a little bit different. Sometimes the things that we're successfully going to do are limited, but really in the big picture, it's more about me working with a parent so I can give them tools for their toolbox. we're not going to get everything perfected with this child in the year that I work with them, but I can guarantee you I'm giving mom and dad tools that they can reach into and that they can put into practice when that kid is 4, when that kid's 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it's also tools that they can use with other kiddos in the house. So it really is more gameplay based, and we're working on getting some function and some strength and some coordination. But it's not as easy working with a 3-year-old as it is working with a 6-year-old. So I'm sure you guys can completely appreciate that. So that answers that. If you have questions about your kid's individual situation, if you have a kiddo who has special needs and has a tongue tie, it is such a delicate situation to make sure you do it at the right time, because if you go in too early, if the kiddo has a terrible healing response, if they develop oral aversions, there's so many different things. You don't just go bananas and just go, hog wild into this procedure. So you've got to have the right people on board and the right people advising you. Okay. Question number 2, how should I find my provider? I just talked ad nauseum about this. So if this is the question you have, I want you to revisit my blog and my Facebook Live from, looks like March 27th. I talk about this. I talk about the questions you should be asking. Any of you, again, who know me and follow me, or any of you who have worked with me, I will tell you till I'm blue in the face, you have to find the right person, be willing to travel. Do not go to your childhood dentist necessarily. Don't go to somebody down the block who tells you that they have a laser and they can do it. Don't be their guinea pig. Again, if you have questions, finding a myofunctional therapist to help walk you through that fire is going to be so very important, okay? And last, the question is online therapy as good as in-person therapy? Okay, so first thing I want to say, of course, if the person telling you that is somebody that has a brick and mortar business, then absolutely they're going to tell you that their potato chip is better than somebody else's potato chip. If that's what you want and that you feel most comfortable with that type of process, then absolutely do that. This isn't about me or any other therapist who works online. It's about you and what works for you, because we're here to help you. So with that said, myofunctional therapy is not a hands-on therapy. I don't care what anybody says. When somebody's working with their fingers in your mouth, they're not doing necessarily myofunctional therapy as it was really designed and intended. Okay, so they're doing some hybridization of something. So myofunctional therapy is not a hands-on therapy. So therefore, working online, I think, is brilliant. I do this because I want to bring therapy to people in all parts of the world who otherwise would not be able to receive this therapy. It's not meant to be cheaper, although it probably is cheaper, because I can guarantee you that if I had a brick and mortar, I would have more expenses. I would have more overhead. So my prices would be higher. But that's not the point. The purpose of being an online therapist and providing teletherapy services is not meant for it to be cheaper. It's meant to reach those people who need it. And it's efficient and it's effective. In my town where I live, I don't even see anybody in person, because it's most effective for our 30-minute appointment that we do it online. So that's how I do it. Let me see what else here. So I really have touched on all of those things. If you think that in-person therapy is going to work best for you, then go for your bad self and do it. That's not the purpose. It's that you can get the therapy. I don't know where you guys are, but in my areas, when I first started doing this, I actually did see people locally and, online. And my local people got really sick and tired of driving 45 minutes across a metropolitan area for a 30-minute appointment, only to turn around and drive back through that traffic to go home. So it's absolutely asinine to me to overlook how awesome it is. Okay, so you do what works for you, and that as long as you're getting the therapy, that is the most important thing. So it's going to be more effective. When I do therapy with somebody, when I do an exam with somebody, I have 2 computer screens. So I have this one here in front of me. I have another big screen here. My clients send a variety of photos, all sorts of different things. In addition to those photos, talking to that person live when I do their comprehensive exam, and also when I am going through the questions of their exam, that's all data. I'm gathering all sorts of data so that I can come up with a plan. I can see what their issue is. I diagnose tongue ties right and left all the time before I even look at pictures, because just asking their questions, I can see what's going on. Okay, so I think I have beat all of those questions to death. I did see a comment. I'm not sure where it went. So let me see here. Okay, looks like it was just a comment, not a question. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about next week. Another hot topic. So I'm sure I'll get everybody fired up over this one. But next week I'm going to be talking about, is YouTube therapy adequate? So you guys, if you know me, you know my answer to this. But it's a hot topic. It's advised a lot. And so I'm going to be talking about that next week. It'll be a colorful conversation. What I want you to do today, right now, as soon as you're done listening to this, if you have not gotten my quick assessment tool, you can get that at the bottom of any one of my blogs. So here's that link for you. This is going to help start screening yourself. So there's an adult, there's a child. There's 25 questions. Quit sticking your head in the sand. Figure out whether you have myofunctional impairment and whether you need to talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be me. I tell you guys that all the time. But these questions are going to help clue you in to areas that you may have concern. So many people have no idea why breastfeeding and bottle feeding are good and bad, in the myofunctional arena. Why a pacifier is bad, why thumb sucking is bad, why somebody has digestive issues, why their swallow is so loud and clunky. All of these things, until you arm yourself with knowledge and get educated, you're totally missing the boat. And so many of my clients, when I do their exam and I educate them and take them through this process, they're just astounded at what they didn't know and how things are connected. So unless you're ready to jump into doing a free assessment with me, which is a 30-minute visit, just like this, we meet online, to talk about if it makes sense for you to do a paid comprehensive exam, or you can jump right into the exam. But some people don't want to start there. Some people want to investigate for themselves. And that's totally me. I want to know as much as I can before I really talk to somebody else. So that's why I give you this quick assessment tool to use. And so many people are reaching out to me and saying, Carmen, I answered, yes to 20 out of the 25 questions. I answered yes to 23 out of the 25. That's a big red flag. And I can't give you any more information to help push you along to get yourself well if you do not download this tool and take it serious. So it's there for you. You can follow me on YouTube. You can find my Facebook support group, which is Myofunctional Therapy and Tongue Tie Support Group, or something like that, those same words. It's such a mouthful. There is a great community of lots of different people there, so you can get questions answered there. You can always reach out to me via email, and I will see you guys next week where we're going to talk about YouTube therapy, so it should be fun. Be well, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.